To start with President Biden's $1.9 trillion relief bill set for a vote in the House tomorrow. And as new polling finds, it has overwhelming support with the American public. In the latest Morning Consult political poll, 76% support the stimulus, while 17% oppose. When breaking support down along party lines, a majority of Republicans, 60%, support the relief, with 30% opposing. 89% of Democrats and 71% of independents also support the bill. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell was asked yesterday about these latest numbers.
On the COVID relief bill, the polling on it all shows that somewhere between 60 and 70% of Americans do approve of what the Biden administration is putting forward. Do you worry at all that, as you said, your unity in opposing it puts Republicans on the opposite side of the American people on this bill?
Well, I'm sure everybody would love to get a check, but they haven't yet learned about what else is in it. And part of our job as the substantial minority, remember we're in a 50-50 Senate here, is to make sure the American people fully understand what's being proposed. Look at the size of this package. It's the size of the CARES Act. We passed that in March of 2020. This is not 2020. There are hopeful signs that the economy is coming back. Vaccines are being distributed. The statistics are going in a better direction. We're in favor of targeting this relief to the conditions that we find today and looking forward, not backward.
The part of the bill that Republicans seem to be honing in on is the increase in the minimum wage.
The minimum wage has got nothing to do with COVID. Zero to do with COVID. It's got everything to do with their liberal wish list.
For people who want to stay in Wyoming to work and open a small business, they want to make the wages so high that the small business is failing before it even gets started.
I push it back to the governors, and we really should allow those states to determine what is best for them.
So, Willie, we have Republicans who are talking there and who are expressing their concerns. You could also hear concerns from a Democrat, Joe Manchin. Not exactly sure right now where Kyrsten Sinema is, but Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are usually pretty close together. Joe Manchin just come out and said, listen, anything above $11 an hour minimum wage hurts my people in my state. And so it'll be interesting to see where Joe Manchin goes here. I suspect at the end of the day, he will try to separate the minimum wage portion of this bill. And by the way, listen, he should. I really believe if you're going to do a COVID relief bill, do a COVID relief bill. If you want to do a minimum wage bill, put that out on the side and then vote on that next. Because this whole idea that $15 an hour is just what a bunch of freaks and left-wingers in Seattle are doing, not true anymore. Yeah. In the state of Florida, the state of Florida, as conservative as it is, passed actually a law, the voters, on one of the constitutional amendments where they actually supported a $15 minimum wage increase phased in, which is something that this bill is doing too. So this is also sort of mainstream. So put it in a separate bill, make Republicans vote against it, then they'll have two popular bills that they're going to be voting against.
Yeah, which would remind people, $7.25 an hour if you work 8 hours a week over the course of a year earns you about $15,000 a year. Ask yourself if that's a livable wage. But as you say, that's a separate question. In fact, President Biden has conceded a couple of times that it's a separate question. He has said out loud in interviews, yeah, I don't think the minimum wage is going to survive this. And he knows that. So he put it inside the bill as something he can use to negotiate with.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.